Tonight on News 5 Live, a security guard is gunned down and his weapon is stolen at a supermarket in San Ignacio. A protest in the Garden City where residents are up in arms over an unsolved double homicide. And the opposition leader criticizes the Prime Minister over the plant importation fiasco. These stories and more coming up on News 5 Live.
Digi, the premier name in voice and data, is also the country's leading provider of innovative services and solutions for small business and enterprise. At Digi Business, we offer solutions, tools, and applications to support your business needs. Reduce costs, improve efficiency, and excel in a changing world where no idea is too big and no task is too small. From technology advising to design implementation and management, our team of qualified solution sales and specialists can develop a reliable and robust infrastructure, allowing you to spend more time on what matters most, your business. Visit us online to explore how DigiBusiness innovative products and solutions can help your business reduce costs and improve efficiency.
Watch The Truth of God with Pastor Gino Jennings of the First Church of Our Lord Jesus Christ every Sunday morning at 8 a.m. exclusively on Channel 5 Belize. The Truth of God with Pastor Gino Jennings every Sunday at 8 a.m. on Channel 5 Belize.
Download the SmartStream app on the Android Play Store and create your account to get access to movies and stream at home or on the go. Prepaid customers can purchase regular data packages or get a discounted rate on a special SmartStream package by dialing 7737. postpaid customers will be billed monthly. Never miss a movie again with SmartStream.
Are you looking for low-cost television advertising? Have we got a deal for you? Advertise on Channel 5's Daily Classifieds. Channel 5's Daily Classifieds is one of the most effective methods for introducing yourself and your business to the community. Use our Daily Classifieds to recruit employees, promote specials, promote your products or services, promote a business opportunity, increase traffic to your website, and advertise items you have for sale. Let us help you to save valuable time and money. Call us today at 280-0013 or visit us at our offices on Coney Drive to discuss how we can help your business grow affordably. Channel 5 Daily Classifieds. Advertise today.
This newscast is brought to you by the Belize Bank Limited. Our country, your bank.
Good evening. Welcome to News 5 Live for Friday, April 29th. I am Annelyn Apollonia. It is a crime that has been perpetrated a number of times before. A security officer leaves his family and the safety of his home to report to work and never makes it back alive because he becomes the victim of a ruthless murder on the job site. Another such incident would play out around 7:30 on Thursday night in San Ignacio, Cayo, when a brazen gunman accosted a young security officer as he stood guard outside his place of assignment. But as was evident on the surveillance recording, the assailant didn't want money. News 5's Marian Ali was in Cayo and filed this report.
The callous shooting of 27-year-old David Gonzalez, a security guard employed with Anchor Security, was captured on a surveillance camera at Super Q Mart, where he was on duty outside of the business. It shows the unsuspecting guard standing, looking up Bully Tree Road when his attacker pounced. The gunman, wearing a cap, walked up to Gonzalez and reached for his firearm that was holstered on his right side. But the guard instinctively stepped backward. When he saw that the assailant had a weapon of his own pointed at him, he tried to draw the pistol. Unfortunately, Gonzalez was not fast enough, and the gunman shot him several times. He collapsed on the ground, while the attacker casually reached over him and took possession of the weapon before running off. It all happened in a matter of 11 seconds on a busy thoroughfare with vehicular traffic in the background. Gonzalez was pronounced dead 40 minutes later at the San Ignacio Community Hospital. Investigators have recovered 3 expended 9mm slugs from the scene and have since detained 1 suspect pending the outcome of their investigation. Residents in the area were too fearful to speak on camera, but told us that they heard the shots. This was not the first time that the location was targeted, they say, though this time the gunman never entered the business establishment. Reporting for News 5, I'm Marion Ali.
A group of about 25 persons gathered in Belmopan at 7 this morning to hold a protest against the Belize Police Department and more specifically the Belmopan formation. The protesters feel that the police have failed to bring charges in connection with a double murder that occurred in May of 2016 when in their view there is sufficient evidence to lay charges. The victims were Sean Lopez and Akeem Thimbrell, who were both shot and killed near Lopez's home in Camalote Village. News 5's Marian Ali was in Belmopan and spoke to a few of the protesters who were willing to talk and filed this report.
If this morning nobody had showed up, I was going to walk by myself. I feel so moved to do that. But I know that There are people would have come out.
A father still grieving the loss of his son to gun violence 6 years ago today led a protest in the nation's capital to implore the Belize Police Department to bring the perpetrators to justice. Pastor Irving Timbrell told News 5 during the event that he is convinced there is sufficient evidence available to bring forward criminal charges, but that there have been efforts from within the department to suppress the case from making progress from the onset.
They found a slug in my hand, in my son's hand, and when they did a ballistic test on that slug, they found the gun. That person is allowed to walk away and go to the States. One time when I went to them and asked for the information, they couldn't even tell me where the file was. So who is actually following up on these things? What system is in place?
Pastor Timbrell said that from his perusal of the evidence, the case file was fraught with inaccuracies. He said that his demand for answers went all the way to the House of Representatives, and it prompted reaction that made him discover the errors.
It was taken to the House by the area rep of Kayo South. That spurred the previous Prime Minister to get a report from the police and give it to me. You know, when I read that report has a date that is 1 year wrong. In that report, it is shown that they were supposed to get a F-150. The police went and got a forerunner to make an error like that. They're not even close to, physically looking at those vehicles, they're not even close.
We've seen some of the evidence, and we know that there's more than sufficient evidence.
That is based on your views, your
there's
feelings.
Eyewitnesses. Listen, there's inaction on this issue, and there's a reason why this inaction
Why
is
would you
taking
say
place.
there's reason?
I will say what everybody knows about our nation, but doesn't want to say. People have dirt on other people, and if these ones talk, then they're going to expose the dirt. And that's why I'm saying darkness starts to cover the land.
Timbrell is not the only relative of a murder victim who is annoyed with the police department. Rudolph Williams told us that he too is hoping to see someone get charged for the murder of his son, Rudolph Jr., several years ago.
It's quite a while now they killed my son, couple years. Independence Night they killed my son, so anytime Independence Day I remember my son.
We are sending a message to the authorities, to whoever can intervene in this situation, to ask the police to do their investigation properly.
While it has been 6 years since the cousins were gunned down, their relatives say they will not stop until they get some answers.
If it has been labeled a cold case, I hope this march today, will help them to reopen that file and dig further and try to come to some conclusion of what happened.
The protesters marched the length of Forest Drive to an open lot near the Belmopan Police Department, where speeches were made before they dispersed. Reporting for News 5, I'm Marian Ali.
There was an aggravated burglary that took place in Unitedville earlier this week, which resulted in the theft of a Toyota Hilux pickup. Rolando Gonzalez reported to police that upon arriving at his residence while driving the vehicle into the yard, an orange Haval SUV drove up behind him. 5 masked men then exited the vehicle, 2 of whom were armed. A firearm was placed behind Gonzalez's son's head, and they were then ordered to enter the residence along with other family members. Inside the home, the culprits demanded money. When Gonzalez informed them that he didn't have any, the men then demanded the keys to his vehicle. They took off in the Toyota Hilux, which contained a licensed 9mm pistol along with 15 live rounds of ammunition. On Thursday, police were able to recover the vehicle in the vicinity of Jaguar Paw. An investigation is ongoing. A group of 5 men was busted at a campsite in the Soldier Creek Reserve earlier today by police and personnel from the Forestry Department. The men were found in possession of a 12-gauge shotgun as well as a cartridge belt with 14 cartridges. The men are from various communities in the Sand Creek district. 61-year-old Ramon Quintero, a construction worker of Silkgrass Village, 28-year-old Juanito Davila Rios of Hope Creek Village, 71-year-old Felix Escoto of Sarawi, 25-year-old Emilton Morales, a construction worker of Hope Creek Village, and 26-year-old Andre Anthony Moreira of Steadfast. The men were charged jointly for the offenses of kept firearm without a gun license and kept ammunition without a gun license. Coming up, the opposition leader and the president of the Public Service Union takes the Prime Minister to task over the importation of endangered plants.
Hello, friends. This is Dr. Bob Roberts with another 60-second sermon from God's Word.
The Bible says, "For whether we live unto the Lord, and whether we die unto the Lord. Whether we live, therefore, or die, we are the Lord's. For to this end Christ both died and rose and revived, that he might be Lord both of the dead and the living." The big difference between Christianity and other religions is the resurrection of Jesus. It was the difference between the Pharisees and the Sadducees in the New Testament. The gods that other religions worship are dead, but in Christianity we worship and follow Jesus Christ, who said, "I am he that liveth and was dead, am alive forevermore." A missionary once explained this truth to a group in the following way: "I am traveling and have reached a place where the road branches off in two directions. I look for a guide and find two men. One is dead and the other alive. Which of the two should I ask for directions, the dead or the living?" The people vociferously responded, "The living." Then said the missionary, "Why do you follow a leader who is dead instead of Christ who is alive?" Because he lives, we have this message to proclaim. God sent his Son. They called him Jesus. He came to love, heal, and forgive. He lived and died to buy my pardon. An empty grave is there to prove my Savior lives. Because he lives, I can face tomorrow. Because he lives, all fear is gone. Because I know he holds the future, and life is worth the living just because he lives. Today's 60-second sermon has been presented by Christian Foundations of Faith in cooperation with the Baptist churches in your area.
Beer, Empire Entertainment, Perf Records, T-Dubs Promotion, Terror Squad Promotion, present the biggest Labor Day Park Fest inside the BTL Park in Belize City. It's all going down on Sunday, May 1, 12 noon till 11 in the night. Bring out the entire family. Taking the center stage will be all the prime time entertainers like Sting the Artist. I'm gonna love you forever. Did you say King Rule? Denise Castillo. Take it easy. Baby cooler. Dando. Me love it all the cool. Six Crash. Profit. Them never think so we are making Max Revenue. Asiatic. This girl the other day in Cayo. Mimi Martinez and more. Harlem News and they'll hit it out. That's right. All hosted by the deadly duo. DJ Dalan, DJ Dixie. Things to be done. Later on, we move on to the Ramada poolside for the official after party, where we will be celebrating DJ Perf's celebrity birthday party. Red carpet style, 10 p.m. till 3 in the morning. Remember, Parkfest wristbands gets you $5 off at the entrance. Come and take pictures. Come and take pictures. Remember, me build you up when me see you did a broke down.
Opposition leader Shine Barrow has weighed in on the controversy surrounding the importation of plants into the country, as well as phone calls that were made by Prime Minister John Briceño requesting assistance from a forestry officer to facilitate the process at the northern border. Barrow strongly condemns the actions of the Prime Minister, especially since the plants that were brought in are on the site's list of endangered species. According to Barrow, the Prime Minister had no business intervening in that process, despite the importer presenting the required paperwork for the importation of the plants.
Never in life would I imagine that a Prime Minister would get involved in the public officer discharging their duty. That is just not the way good governance is supposed to work. That's not the way a democracy is supposed to work. This is not Cuba. I know they're in Cuba right now. This is not Fidel Castro. Our prime ministers don't have absolute power. This is a democracy. You have a cabinet. You have public officers who transcend political parties. It doesn't matter whether it's the UDP government or the PUP government. Those public officers are there to ensure continuity, stability. And so if an officer is discharging their duty, the last thing that a public officer needs is for the Prime Minister to tell them, oh, don't worry about the technicalities, we'll deal with that after. And then the Prime Minister called again when they went to inspect the plants, because contained in those plants, I understand, are endangered species of plants, which puts us in contravention of the CITES convention that we are a signatory to, which leads to sanctions that Belize could be blacklisted, and then our conch, our mahogany, and other revenue streams that we have will not be accepted by other nations.
Notwithstanding the argument that Belize hasn't passed into law any sites-related legislation, the leader of the opposition says that as a signatory to the convention, Belize is still obligated to abide by the existing regulations. Barrow fears that Belize can face sanctions for circumventing the site's regulations.
Does not excuse the sanctions that will come because Belize is a signatory. That's plain and straight. The domestic legislation of our international obligations does not excuse us from said obligations. So we still are now at risk of being sanctioned because we have violated a convention that we have signed on to. Right? So that is a matter of ramification that we have to consider when taking these actions. But what is most pressing is the type of demoralization that takes place when public officers have to be in fear to discharge their job, to discharge their duties with the integrity that we ask them to discharge the duties. I see all types of motions coming to the House about good governance. I see all types of training that the Minister of Public Service, he's proud to offer plaques and certificates and good governance training. This type of behavior, this egregious breach of the obligation of the highest office of this land when it comes to that type of abuse of power, smacks in the face of everything that we are training our public officers to adhere to when it comes to best practices.
Granted, nonetheless, if the highest office in the land calls in a favor, requests that a public officer be able to carry out a certain directive, should not...
That is corruption. That is corruption in a democracy. This is not Vladimir Putin. This is not Fidel Castro. This is not Maduro in Venezuela, where, you know, prime ministers and presidents can do what they want and democracy is some facade and we're a banana republic. No minister, no prime minister can call in any favor. That's why we have checks and balances, we have a judiciary, and we have public officers who are enforcers of the policies and the legislations that we have the honor of passing in the House. We don't have the honor of passing those legislations to turn around and say, oh, well, I had a prime minister, so it no matter what the policy say. The me to call you, the big man to call you, and I know the mother-in-law, and the mother-in-law pass you the phone, you for do what I tell you for do. That is not a democracy, sir. That is not what the PUP promised they would be. They railed against that for 13 years and found every example of nepotism and cronyism and influence peddling that they could find. So now we expect better.
Forestry Officer Danny Chi remains on a 5-day suspension after receiving a letter from CEO in the Ministry of Sustainable Development, Dr. Kenrick Williams. It comes on the heels of an incident where Prime Minister John Bresenio claims that Chi hung up on his call. The charge is that the officer failed to act in a professional manner in accordance with the public service regulations. PSU President Dean Flowers indicated earlier today that the correspondence issued to the suspended public officer is flawed.
I will not venture to highlight those procedural errors and flaws that is contained therein because I believe the CEO is also a doctor. And in addition to being a doctor, he has 2 administrative officers within his ministry. And I would have hoped that when you put the 3 heads together, they would have gotten the initial letter outright. But I will limit my comment to that, to simply state that from the onset, there are fundamental issues with the letter that was served to Brother Chi. I cannot comment further on it because if it is that they believe that this is something that they can take to the commission, then we will, of course, do as we always do, point out their incompetence and walk out of that room in a matter of minutes.
According to President Flowers, he is unaware of any previous attempt to investigate or disciplinary charges being made against Forestry Officer Danny Chi. Was the Prime Minister being truthful about the Forestry Officer hanging up the phone on him? According to PSU President Dean Flowers, the suspended officer was never on a phone call with the Prime Minister. He says that the public has been misled.
The public have been misled into thinking that the officer in charge cut down or cut off the Prime Minister. As the Prime Minister said in his interview, the officer set down phone pana, I believe. That is what he suggested. I want to clarify that at no point in time did Mr. Chi have any phone in his possession. I want to state categorically that at no point in time did the Prime Minister call Mr. Chi on his phone and spoke to Mr. Chi on Mr. Chi's phone. Neither did the Prime Minister call any other law enforcement agency that was there to speak with them or to speak with Mr. Chi. Mr. Chi had no phone in his possession, in his hands. As a matter of fact, his hands were occupied with removing the illegal plants. Whether or not the Prime Minister was speaking to the quote-unquote, because I don't know, mother-in-law or some other individual on the premises on speakerphone in an attempt to intimidate or speak to Mr. Chi, I don't know. The investigation and the case will prove on whose phone. So I cannot see how Mr. Chi could have a set down phone from the Prime Minister when in fact his hands were occupied with plants, and at no point in time was he holding a telephone speaking to the Prime Minister.
The suspension was prompt, and the PSU president believes that she is being used as a scapegoat to detract from the identity of the importer and her relation to either the agriculture minister or the Prime Minister. In an interview on Thursday, Minister Mai said that it is not the first time and it will not be the last time that a minister will call on a public officer to carry out a task. Dean Flowers calls on Financial Secretary Joseph Waite to keep the PM and his ministers in check.
In the past or it will be done in the future. It is wrong. Even if it is a request, if the minister calls an officer who is executing his duties and asks him a question, hey, I heard there's a little issue there with the items that Jules Vasquez or you, Marisol, are bringing. What's the problem? And that officer explains the problem to him or her, depending on which minister would call. And that minister suggests, isn't there something we could do for your man? You are already putting that public officer under duress. You are already interfering in the administration of the public service, which is supposed to be free from political interference.
After the break, the debate on whether Belize is prepared to become a republic. But first, here's a look at the latest COVID-19 figures.
We have traveled and we have consulted with communities across Belize to ensure the best solutions for their energy needs. Under BEL's Rural Electrification Program and with funds provided by both BEL and the European Union, mini-grid systems will be constructed in several remote communities in northern and southern Belize.
This mini-grid, this will benefit us. The school will benefit, the church will benefit, and the people.
Belize Electricity Limited. We remain committed to delivering safe, reliable, and sustainable energy solutions.
Necesitas un proveedor de servicio móvil que te permita estar conectado con una cobertura LTE rápida y confiable en cualquier instante y desde cualquier lugar. ¿Quieres hablar con tu familia? ¿Compartir tus experiencias con alguien especial? ¿Administrar tu pequeña empresa? Para todo lo que necesites te mereces la mejor experiencia móvil. Ahora puedes hacer mucho más con los planes de datos postpago aumentados de Digi. Puedes disfrutar de 8 GB de datos en cualquier instante por tan solo $55 mensuales. O puedes compartir hasta 120 GB con 6 de tus amigos más cercanos. Estos son más datos LTE para que disfrutes durante el día, por las noches y los fines de semana sin restricciones. Disfruta a lo máximo con más datos para llamadas y mensajes ilimitados en todos los planes postpago de Digi. Visita la tienda Digi más cercana para inscribirte hoy. Solo necesitas una identificación válida y un comprobante de domicilio. Únete a la red de mayor velocidad y cobertura en Belice. Para más información visita nuestra página web www.livedigi.com o envíanos un mensaje a través de WhatsApp o Facebook. Digi, nuestra telecomunicación nacional.
plastics. To understand what a compostable plastic is, we need to know that composting is a natural way to recycle decomposed organic material like oranges or banana peels. So, a compostable plastic is similar to the banana peel in the sense that it also undergoes biological decomposition in a compost site and doesn't leave any toxic residue. In fact, it breaks down into carbon dioxide, water, inorganic compounds, and biomass at a similar rate of compostable materials. This is great because once properly disposed of, compostable plastic food packaging would be broken down in a manner much kinder to the environment compared to plastics. The recycled materials would return to Earth quickly and safely as soil when disposed of in the right environmental conditions and temperatures. It's important to note that for decomposition to occur, all compostable products must reach a sanitary landfill, where there is proper management of the waste through disposal and treatment. Click on the link below to see what you can do to help end the nightmare of single-use plastics. I'm Alison Castillo, and now you know.
The discussion on whether Belize can or will become a republic took center stage this morning during a forum hosted by the University of Belize. Presenters included Dr. Dylan Vernon, Dominique Norales, and Dino Guterres. Dubbed the State of Belize in the World, Monarchy, Justice, and Future Republic, the conversation comes on the heels of Barbados's transition to a modern republic. The shift, according to Dr. Vernon, would require Belize adopting one of three systems, including having a president.
A modern republic is simply a form of statehood in which the people, we the people, and our representatives who are elected hold supreme power, and in which there is no monarch as head of state. In short, the only thing that keeps us from being a republic today is that our constitution says that the executive authority of Belize is vested in Her Majesty, which is exercised on her behalf by a Governor General. That's the only thing that makes us not a republic. Just by cutting these constitutional ties to the British monarchy and replacing our Governor General with a Belizean, let me put this another way, by having a Belizean head of state, as opposed to Her Majesty, would make Belize a republic. And this would be along with 75% of all the independent states of the world that are all republics. Accepting that in our case, today, being a republic is merely the absence of monarchy, and that republics can have various forms of government. The question I think that is more relevant is, when we do become a republic, what kind of government system do we want for that republic? In simple terms, I think we will have three broad choices. First, we could choose to become a basic parliamentary republic, that is simply moving from a parliamentary democracy, which we are now, and becoming a parliamentary republic. This means that apart from replacing the Queen as head of state with a Belizean, the Westminster parliamentary model of governance that we now have would remain basically the same. And instead of having a Governor General, we would have a president with the same largely ceremonial functions.
On Thursday, the Ministry of Human Development, Families and Indigenous Peoples Affairs met with about 70 women at the Toledo Sports Complex. The women are from across the district and came together to express their needs and concerns. Commissioner Greg Chuck was there to speak about the work of the Indigenous Peoples portfolio. However, there are concerns about health issues that women in the Toledo district are facing.
To the ladies this morning about human rights, the rights of Indigenous women, the challenges that we face. But of course, today is not exclusive to Indigenous women. We also have some East Indian women, Creole and Mestizo women from the community here. And I am very pleased as to how the meeting is going.
As I've been sitting down with my group this morning discussing issues as it relates to women, domestic violence, as it relates to health issues, as it relates to education, talking about the children too, and indigenous people in general, the discussion has been extremely fruitful.
My participation at this initiative is one that is, I think, of importance, especially for women in Toledo. I think this platform, a meeting, a forum like this is important because it gives you the opportunity to share and know the needs or the challenges women face within the remote or the rural and the urban communities of Toledo.
Last September, the Ministry of Economic Development requested technical support for a non-refundable feasibility study on 5 of Belize's public hospitals. That study will be conducted after Cabe responded favorably about a month ago. The institutions that will be involved are the Western Regional Hospital, the Punta Gorda Community Hospital, the Southern Regional Hospital, the Northern Regional Hospital, and the San Ignacio Community Hospital. CEO in the ministry, Dr. Osman Martinez, told News 5 that the study comprises 2 parts.
One is about 900,000 US from the South Korean fund, and a little bit over 100,000 US from the Cabe funds. So it's about $1 million or a little bit more than $1 million US that we will be using. And I mean, this is consultants that are being hired directly by Cabe, not by Belize. Well, the objective is to strengthen the infrastructure. Probably might lead to some new hospitals in some areas if it is needed. And then at the same time, we will have to look at the service, which they will also highlight on how and ways to improve the service within the health system. Once we have the feasibility study, once we have what would be the cost to build the hospitals if it is needed, or to strengthen the infrastructure or the system, then we will definitely find ways on how to identify the funds.
The study will be completed by July. Just ahead, a promising young athlete suffers a devastating injury on the basketball court. But first, here's a weather update with data from the Belize Met Service.
Download the SmartStream app on the Android Play Store and create your account to get access to movies and stream at home or on the go. Prepaid customers can purchase regular data packages or get a discounted rate on a special SmartStream package by dialing 7737. Postpaid customers will be billed monthly. Never miss a movie again with SmartStream.
Your life just got a lot less complicated with Belize Bank Contactless MasterCard Debit Card. Introducing our Standard Debit and MasterCard Platinum Debit Cards. Now you can make purchases anywhere MasterCard is accepted with one tap, pay and go. Your contactless card never has to leave your hands, especially in these times. And your card is embedded with multiple layers of security. Platinum card holders get to enjoy extra benefits like price protection, purchase protection, trip inconvenience, and luggage protection, just to name a few. Start enjoying a cashless lifestyle today with the Belize Bank.
have traveled, and we have consulted with communities across Belize to ensure the best solutions for their energy needs. Under BEL's Rural Electrification Program, and with funds provided by both BEL and the European Union, mini-grid systems will be constructed in several remote communities in northern and southern Belize.
This mini-grid, this will benefit us. The school will benefit, the church will benefit, and the people.
Belize Electricity Limited. We remain committed to delivering safe, reliable, and sustainable energy solutions.
As of midnight on Thursday, the cost of liquefied petroleum gas went down a few cents. The Supplies Control Unit in the Ministry of Agriculture, Food Security and Enterprise released the new fixed control prices for butane. In the case of wholesale import, the cost is now retailing at $4.93 per gallon across all districts. Meanwhile, the retail cost per gallon in municipalities is $6.53. The cost in rural areas is 10 cents higher at $6.63 per gallon. The prices reflect a decrease of 19 cents per gallon due to a reduction in the acquisition price of propane. 21-year-old Everal Tablada was seriously injured last weekend while participating in the All-Star Games hosted by the Ahmadiyya Basketball League. The promising young athlete broke his leg while attempting a layup during one of the matches. The extent of his injury is severe and requires a surgery to repair the broken bone. Earlier today, News 5 spoke with Imam Naveed Mangla of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat.
Last week we had the All-Star Game. This was the first time the whole Mexico Center was filled up. We had a lot of people that came to see. And along with All-Star, we had skill competitions, three-point competition, and the dunk competition also. Erbil Tabalada plays for the under 22 category. He's 21 years old, and while he was in the All-Star game and he was playing and was going for a layup, as he landed, up till now we do not know what has happened. We try to check out the video and we asked the witnesses, but we don't think if anybody has pushed him. We still don't know was it the way that he landed, but when he landed, he broke his bone, he fractured it. So right after, we took him to the hospital, and it's been 5-6 days now. We're still waiting for the doctor to give us a green light of when the surgery will be, because it was an open skin, meaning the bone came out. By the way, one of the worst injuries that I've ever witnessed live, at least I should say. We were told that because it was open, the doctors need a little bit more time to examine the wound and make sure that it's not infected before they go ahead with the surgery. So still waiting for the surgery to take place.
What efforts are being made on the part of the Ahmadiyya community to assist Mr. Tablada?
So we, when the injury took place, I met the parents. I told them that this is not your concern as far as the finances are to be collected, because he was playing in our league. We will come up with the funds. How we do it, through fundraising or asking the government for help or asking our own authorities for help, we will come up with this. So far, by the grace of God, we have been able to take care of it.
Well-known musical artist Alexander Evans is recognized for his talent in playing multiple instruments. In the height of the COVID-19 lockdown, Panograma was formed. It is a platform for panists to compete and showcase their talents. Having enjoyed the musical display for the past 2 years, Evans, who studied pan at UWI Trinidad, is now one of several steel pan musicians that will be participating in this year's event. The competition will be aired in the 19 countries across the Caribbean, in the United States and Canada. And as we found out from Evans today, there is also opportunity for growth.
There was a lot of deliberation back and forth about whether or not to even submit a video to even try and
Why?
be a part of it.
I mean, you're Alex Evans. I mean, why?
Because the world of steel pan and the abilities and just what is possible with this instrument is so vast, and when you really get on that international stage, you realize that, you know, here I might be Alex Evans, but, you know, internationally, I just want dropping at the sea, honestly.
I hear you.
You know, and even that kind of speaks to my thought process when it comes to being a part of the competition, because I don't, and I could already foresee April's reaction to me saying this, but I don't consider myself the best panist. I know there are a lot of people out there far more skilled than I am. You know, even I wasn't even one of the best panists in my class in school. Mm-hmm. But one of the things that has really set me apart from my peers is my abilities as a composer and as an arranger. Mm-hmm. And it's not even just compared to other people, but even compared to myself. Like, one of the most frustrating tasks for me is trying to play music that I wrote, because I'm capable of writing music that is on a totally different level than what I'm capable of playing.
Wow.
So this is also, one, it's an opportunity for me to push myself and to kind of stretch myself as a player a little bit.
Yeah.
But also to showcase, you know, some of my capabilities and stuff as an arranger as well.
Prelims will be held from May 6th to the 8th, while the semifinals will be on May 29th. Up next, Ladyville Highlights is the highlight of Sabrina's On the Bright Side.
I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul.
Download the SmartStream app on the Android Play Store and create your account to get access to movies and stream at home or on the go. Prepaid customers can purchase regular data packages or get a discounted rate on a special SmartStream package by dialing 7737. Postpaid customers will be billed monthly. Never miss a movie again with SmartStream.
Strike from Leo Messi. Neymar and Messi is standing over this. Messi.
Great entertainment stays with you, and we bring you great entertainment. Next Gen, the ultimate digital experience.
What is the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine? The Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine is an RNA vaccine that triggers our immune system to develop antibodies against the SARS-CoV-2 virus that causes COVID-19. It helps to reduce hospitalization, severity of the disease, and death. What is the Pfizer vaccine made of, and is it safe? The Pfizer vaccine is made up of mRNA messenger ribonucleic acid, which are molecules that carry the genetic information needed to make proteins, lipid, salts, and sugar. It is safe for persons 12 years and older and does not contain the COVID-19 virus, hence cannot cause infection. Tests have shown that the vaccine is effective against current virus variants. Who should take the Pfizer vaccine? The Pfizer vaccine should be taken by persons 12 years of age and older who do not have severe allergic reaction after a previous dose of vaccine or have not had severe allergic reaction to any ingredient of this vaccine. 2 doses of the vaccine are required 3 weeks apart. If you are between the ages of 12 and 17 years, you are required to present a signed consent form before you are vaccinated. What are the side effects of the Pfizer vaccine? Some common side effects of the Pfizer vaccine are headache, fatigue, muscle pain, fever, chills, and swelling at the injection site. If side effects persist, contact your doctor as soon as possible. Does the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine prevent infection and transmission? No, vaccination alone does not prevent infection and transmission. We are still required to continue to wear masks properly, physically distance, wash and sanitize hands often, practice proper coughing and sneezing hygiene, and avoid crowds.
Ladyville Highlights has earned a name for itself as a social media movement that aims to help as many Belizeans who are faced with economic hardships. Popular on Facebook for shining a light on everyday struggles, Albert Magdaleno and his wife are on a mission to change the lives of many in any possible way. Tonight, Sabrina Daly looks at Ladyville highlights in this week's On the Bright Side.
We reach people near and far. I see some things when a man do, the man go with a barranco and give a thing.
Don't like I find he meet me, come going to sell some pint, he stop me. I ask me how often I sell in there till I find my pick me a smaller sell in there like I the beg about the thief.
Imagine if the man have a ministerial post, he do more than what lot of even the minister didn't do.
Ladyville Highlights is a far cry from a name that some people would consider their saving grace. Since 2017, however, it has made its mark in the homes and hearts of many who find themselves in dire straits. Tonight, we take a closer look at the altruism of social media humanitarians. The creators of Ladyville Highlights wear no cape, nor do they have superpowers. In reality, a mailman and his wife are the driving force behind the far-reaching online activism. A normal day for Albert Magdaleno is spent doing data entry and selling stamps at the Belize Postal Service.
It all started in December of 2017. And if you're a person who believes in God, then you will understand how I do what I do. It is not of me. I don't have the intelligence enough to come up with something like this. Because the way it works, it has to be God. I was at home on my phone, scrolling through Facebook, and everything was negative. You see people fight to see everything just negative. And I just scroll, and then like a voice just came to me. A literal soft-spoken voice came and says, "Why don't you create a Facebook page? You will call it Ladyville Highlights. You will feature all the poor people who are selling their porta bun, their Johnny cake, their Creole bread, their tamales. Say because you have the ability to help them get their stuff sold. Also, you will see how many people I will bless through you, and you will also see how I will bless you." The only thing, the only warning I got was, don't put politics in it. And the voice disappeared.
That whispered epiphany gave birth to a legacy of charity that would positively impact communities across the country before and after the COVID-19 pandemic. We got a first-hand look at a day on the job for Albert Magdaleno. He carries out his assigned duties, but occasionally receives calls and visits on the job to meet the man behind the page for that one promise of hope, a Facebook post that could change their lives.
He didn't ask me nothing. Yes, he did a good heart. You know, I wish there were more people like him around. this world might be a better place.
Sharing stories of people in their most difficult moments is not for likes and shares. For Albert, these stories hit closer to home.
I was in Los Angeles and I was struggling. I used to sell pint bottle, the what they call recycles, to buy gas in my car in LA. Big America, you know, where everybody wanted it. I made to sell pint bottle. There were times I went days without eat. So when I meet families when I have food, I remember what that feel like.
In fact, one such story was all too familiar.
Like I had a beg about her teeth. That was usual thing I usually. Then they say pint they put me, make my picnic they finish school. Children they say pint and stop me. They say if I want any help and I said no problem with that. Like I had beg about her teeth. If you want help me, you could help me. I don't no problem with that.
How did he help you?
He tell me I get some help for me, for my picnic. He just helped me and my picnic a lot. Thanks to that man there.
The help came from supporters at home and abroad, gifting Melanie and her children with donations and money. And like the popular story of Cinderella, Melanie even got a day of pampering and self-care. For the husband and wife team, this work is just the beginning.
To be very honest, I always teach my husband that you must dream big. And Ladyville Highlights will move to another level. I don't know how big, I don't know how far, but I know and I feel that it will move to another level. There's so many ideas that God puts in my head, and I have shared some of it with him this morning. I will not share it now because it's in the preliminary phase, but it will be bigger and it will move beyond just us. The idea was to help people all over the country, but then we started getting calls from within the Caribbean. We have had a phone call from Honduras, and we assisted the guy out there. He was a Belizean. I think he married to one Honduranian. And so we did render assistance to them during their time of need. We also got a call from St. Vincent, of which the lady did get assistance, and we got a call from Jamaica.
Right now, I know of a family in Jamaica that a Belizean family is helping. Took them from one position in their life to another. When they call me, the husband and wife, they had nothing in the kitchen. Because they showed me. But they said, Mr. Albert, Jamaican accent, Mr. I have nothing to go on, so we don't have no groceries in the house. This is the last feed for the baby. And I saw that. And Kosi came across and said, man, the Jamaicans now are reaching out to us for help, the wife. And I said, you know what, we're going to help them.
What this program does also, it creates friendship. Because some of the people that are assisted and some of the donors that assist these people, eventually they end up turning friends, and it's a long-lasting friendship after that.
There are countless success stories, but for one person who got a second chance at life, Ladyville Highlights will always have a special place in her heart. What does Ladyville Highlights mean to you?
Well, a lot, because they help people. They bring people for like they know you one thing, and then like out here, like we're part out there right now. People see me and they're like, oh, this is Miss Maria. And, okay, then Miss Maria, all right. I'm like, yes, I'm okay. Yes, and so I get to know other people. That's nice. They are nice people. Thanks to people who help me, who see the videos and things. And I always say that once I used to always say, never give up, because you know life is short out here. So never try to give up.
Looking on the bright side, I'm Sabrina Daly.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available in both text and streaming video at channel5belize.com. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/News5Live. I'm Annalena Apollonia. Thanks for joining us, and from all of us here at News 5, please remember to wash your hands, keep your social distance, and stay safe. Good night.